Hey, what's going on, kings and queens? Happy Saturday. It's your girl, Patrice Munsell, and welcome to the Truth Now talk show on Hot 702.5 FM on your radio and online streaming dials around the world. How y'all doing? Happy Saturday again, everybody. Again, I'm in a slumber mood. I'm gonna try to be as cheerful, as happy as I can. But as we all know, we have lost a great one. We have lost a great one. I talked about it last Saturday regarding the health and the incident with DMX. And I talked in depth about his life and his experience, how he came into rap and how rap kind of saved his life. But we lost, I would like to think, a legend and an icon in his own right. The legendary, uh, the legendary Earl DMX Simmons. You guys, he is dead at the age of 50 years old. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to send a special prayer and shout out of condolences to his family and to his friends and to his fans around the world, around the globe. Because believe me, he had them, and it is shining and coming through. Special shout out and prayer to the Rough Riders. Those were his close family members and friends, a part of the Rough Riders record label. So shout out to them. We're gonna keep DMX's family and friends and fans in prayer consistently. This is something that has hit our community really, really hard. And I said it last week. I don't have a lot of favorite rappers that are out, but of course, Biggie, Pac were two of my favorites. That's in my top five, and DMX is one of them. He runs probably third in line behind Pac and Biggie, and in that order: Pac, Biggie, DMX. I will say that, and I like kind of like your unorthodox rappers and like Mystical. I said he's one of my favorite. He would probably run maybe fourth or fifth. I have to put a female in there because I definitely got to put Lil Kim in there. I came up from that era of the 90s, late, well, really the 80s. It started with the 80s with the LLs and all of them out of New York. Your Dougie Freshes, your Salt and Peppers, Roxanne Shantae's, all those rappers out of New York. The Furious Five, Molly Mall and Furious Five, like Dougie Fresh, all of them, right? So that's my era on into the 90s, early to mid 90s. DMX came on the scene, I would say somewhere in the 90s, early to mid 90s. And he was different, and I like rappers that are different. That's why I think that's why I like Mystical, because he's a different type of rapper. I kind of call him the godfather of rap because he remind me so much of James Brown. So I like to call him like the James Brown of rap. um DMX to me was in a category of his own, right? Uh Earl DMX Simmons had a very troubling childhood, as we all know. But just to give you guys a little expert, I am flying again solo. My sis is out of commission again this week. Shout out to Antonita Lachey Brown, my partner in crime. She's still on hiatus, so your girl Patrice Moncel is holding it down live. Yours truly, I'm in the building, and yeah. So just I'm just gonna read a little from the report off of TMZ. And I really don't care for TMZ too tough, because a lot of times they miss the mark sometime with our black uh entertainers out here when they do certain reports. Because like I said last week, I didn't like how they handled the whole Kobe Bryant death situation, but hopefully they'll do better with in good taste with DMX's the report they did on DMX. I know that New York Post did a shady write up on DMX, because they concentrated more on the negative about DMX, talking about, his trouble with the IRS and his loss and all that, instead of, and the drugs, and like drugs don't hit other communities, like drugs don't hit. It's just that when it hits African Americans and in our community, it's such a dirty and a bad thing. But when it hit, upscale middle class white communities, it's a different story. It's an illness, it's a sickness, and they need, and it's more of the the sympathy and the empathy, if you will. But in the black community, they just all just drug addicts and alcoholics, and they bad people, and they this and that. So the stereotypes, they can miss me with that, because I don't know why I've been feeling a way ever since I found out about DMX. Like I said, I don't know. I've been feeling a way, and just trying to, it's so much, it's so much going on with the whole COVID thing. Ever since this whole COVID thing has started, it just seems like a tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. And I think that a lot of, especially the African American community, we need some mental health guidance. We need some mental health therapy. We need probably to take a mental day. I used to always say in my workplace that all jobs need to have a mental health day that they give off for their employees. Whatever day that day is, it need to become a holiday, for mental health, because DMX suffered a lot with mental health issues due to his childhood and the trauma and the tragedies that happened. So just going to read a little expert. Everyone, excuse me, everyone know that DMX has died after suffering an overdose. And I know they were going back and forth with the whole, was it an overdose? Then they were talking about COVID. Then it was all, is he dead? He not dead? Is he brain dead? He not brain dead? It went back and forth in the media. Just it was a mess, and we didn't know what to think. I didn't want to say nothing until I knew, as far as a final, until I knew that I wanted to hear specifically from the family. And the family has spoken up and gave a statement and said that he did pass away, and it was an overdose. It was not COVID, like a lot of people were saying. He may have had COVID and have gotten over COVID or whatever. They was trying to blame it on the vaccine. And as much as I, don't want to take the vaccine and envy the whole situation with the vaccine, uh, I don't believe it was that as well. They were trying to say that, yeah, he took the shot and it caused the heart attack, but actually the overdose caused the heart attack, and then being unconscious for nearly 30 minutes following the overdose, because we don't know if he was left alone and wasn't found until 30 minutes later, or what the situation was. But when the brain can't function without oxygen for 30 minutes, that's very detrimental and dangerous to a person's state. And it left him in a vegetative state, because the longest a human being can go without breathing and getting permanent damage to the brain with for not having enough oxygen is 4 minutes. 4 minutes without oxygen, excuse me, can death can occur as soon as 4 to 6 minutes after no oxygen. Machines, you can be hooked up to the defibrillator or machine that can make all of your other body functions and organs function, like your pump, your heart and things of that nature. But you're pretty much brain dead or in a vegetative state, and you will never be the same. And when I found that out last week, I did say that about DMX, and I knew that it was looking really gloom and grim, and without saying, that it was inevitable, because I know God is a miracle worker as well. I didn't want to say it, but at the same time, I'm a realist too, and I know what that looks like firsthand, because as I told the story of my grandmother having a stroke and being brain dead and being in a vegetative state, never ever would she have been conscious, aware herself again. She would have been just laying there with the machines keeping her alive. And to me, that's not living. That's just existing in a body. But then your organs start to shut down, and that is the incident that happened with DMX. The brain function never returned, and by Thursday, his organs began to fail. They start to shut down while he was still um, uh, on um, on life support. You know, and God, it just knowing knowing the trouble childhood that he had, the humble beginnings he had, growing up in poverty, uh, being a son of a teenage mother that grew up in poverty, that probably grew up in all types of violence and trauma herself, having a son as a teenager, because I believe they said her age was either from 17 to 19 when she had DMX, and not knowing herself how to be a mother. I'm not sure if she ever had a mother. It's just sort of like generational things that happens a lot in the Black community when you are raised in poverty, and when you are raised with no father around. DMX didn't have a relationship with his father, and when he did interviews, he talked about those things, and then he got very emotional. Almost every interview I saw him do, and one I saw him do last, prior to the Wendy Williams in October of last year. He was very happy. You could tell he was clean and sober. He looked good. He was gaining weight. Face was fat, bright, and he talked so well. And he was talking about the movie, about the serial killer movie that he was in. So he's done some things. He finally finished his album, but prior to that, back here a few years ago, he had done an interview with the Breakfast Club, and if you guys remember, he had his heart had stopped. He said for almost 4 minutes because of an asthma attack. So DMX had asthma. He was asthmatic, and that's an underlying health condition, right? So when you put all of that with drug and alcohol abuse and addiction and underlying health conditions, it's only so much the human body can take. Uh, but what I loved about DMX that is that I saw his conviction, that I saw that he never stopped fighting. There was a spiritual awakening that was happening in his life, and he said he had always been spiritual. He used to pray ever since his mom dropped him off and left him in that children's home. So DMX suffered with a lot of mental and physical uh, ailments. The mental part was the depression. He may have been bipolar. There may have been some. And I'm not a health professional, so all of this is alleged. So disclaimer. But people that grow up in group homes and get tossed around in foster care and things like that, they have abandonment issues really, really bad. And most of those kids have to become another person to protect the inner child. And that's, to me, that's what I saw in DMX, is someone that Earl Simmons, DMX was created to protect the little boy, Earl Simmons, right? And then X, he later just wanted to go by X or became X. I think X was created to protect DMX because he DMX went on Yana Van Zant, and sometimes when they go on those type of reality type things, it's really about the views, the clicks and the views and the clouds. It's not really about helping the person. When I saw that, I saw that he was triggered a lot on that show. And I don't think that that's healthy. I don't think that that's healthy at all. And DMX will spiral, and he would relapse again. But he had a conviction in him. And I found out not too long ago that I'm in Arizona, and that DMX resided in Arizona. He had a home, a big home ranch out here where he would do his dirt bike racing. He loved the open space. He called it God's country. He said he knew he wanted to live here because of just the air and watching sunsets and sunrises and watching all of the mountains and things. He said he knew that Arizona was God's country. And he also went to jail here. He did some stint in prison in Arizona. I can't remember if it was for something else, the dog fighting, was it the tax situation? But anyway, he ended up losing his home here in Arizona. But just growing up in poverty and then being a young child, never experiencing what it's like to get high for the first time. He told this touching, tearful, because it really brought tears to my eyes, story of how he was tricked and became a crack addict because he trusted someone that was much older than him. This person, and this is all allegedly, but it's a guy named Reddy Ron, and this is all allegedly, but this is DMX's story. A person that he looked up to. He was in his 30s. DMX was only 14 years old, had never got high, touched anything a day in his life. And he said that when you trust in an adult and they violate that trust and you only a child, because believe me, even though DMX was 14 years old, your brain is not fully developed until you 24, 25-ish years old. And you can research that and look it up. So even a lot of times we think our kids are grown at 18 or 21, and you sometimes don't understand why they do like crazy things that they do. You have to remember that the adult brain do not fully develop until around the age of 24, 25, and you can research that, I guarantee you. So imagine being a 14-year-old and you're looking up to a 30-some-year-old whose brain is fully developed, but this person is addicted to drugs themselves. And then you look up to this person, you trust this person, they're like your big brother, the brother you never had, or the father figure you never had. And you look up and all your trust is in this person. And this is the day that I know that his trust has died. His trust died, other than from with the trust that he had from his mother. um Rapping with this guy, and DMX was out there. He tell you himself that he used to rob people and things to eat and to have money in his pocket to survive. He used to sleep at friends' house from pillar to post because he was homeless. Because when his mother dropped him off at that home, she never went back and picked him up. Never went back and picked her child up. And then when you get out, and your mother still don't let you in the home. So and you're a little boy. You 14, you're a boy. I don't care what you're a teenage boy, but you're a boy. And what that must have made him feel, how that must have made him feel. And so now he's sleeping from pillar to post. He meet this young man, and they rapping and beatboxing together. And then one day y'all do a bid, y'all do a robbery together or whatever, and you come back and and the older guy tells this young boy, take a wig of this joint, take a wig of this joint. It ain't nothing but joint. He like, nah, man, you don't do that stuff. Da da da. Oh man, come on, come on. Again, that's that pressure, that peer pressure that people put on you, friends, family, it doesn't matter, schoolmates. It's that peer pressure. Come on, it ain't nothing but a joint. You can take it, nothing but. Unbeknownst to DMX, that this guy had laced that joint with crack cocaine. And he said the feeling that it gave him, the awe, the euphoric, the utopia that it made him feel, he never forgot that. He said he literally had forgot all about the money that he had from the robbery. He was like, the feeling that he had, it was a high that he continued to chase the rest of his life. So let's take a look at how damaging a lot of our Black communities uh children are being raised, even right to this day, because DMX story is somebody else's story, is somebody else's story. Poverty, going from group home or foster care, being tossed around and being abused while you in the system. It happens all the time. It's still happening right now today. So being a part, so he had trust issues. Then he had to create these people, where and where I believe that some of the mental health issues come in. You have to create these people, so your brain splits and you literally create other personalities to protect the little boy inside, because when DMX told that story, the little boy inside him was speaking, and he was choked up and he was crying, and the only thing he kept saying was, how could you do that? How could you do that? I was just a kid. I trusted you. How could you do that to a kid? So let's not judge, okay? Because everybody knows, we all have had or have family members that we know that battles some type of drug or alcohol addiction or both. So let's keep those people in prayer, because it is usually 9 times out of 10 childhood traumas and different things that have caused them to become addicted to drug or alcohol, because they try to numb that pain, right? So we all know what that looks like. Um, I went and purchased a DMX T-shirt. Well, not necessarily a DMX T-shirt, but a T-shirt that says which is my favorite song, the one "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind." So I found a T-shirt that said "Y'all gonna make me lose my mind," and I went on and I barely got the T-shirt. All of his stuff is selling like crazy, off the shelf T-shirts and hoodies and things of that nature. So if you want to purchase, you better go on like Amazon and on all of these social media platforms to try to purchase some of his merchandise. I look forward to hearing his latest album that he did finally complete. So I look forward to listening to his album, and I'm pretty sure that the record labels and everybody else gonna make a whole lot of money off of DMX's death, because that's just the way it works in the entertainment industry. But yeah, my heart has been really, really heavy. I don't know why. His death, Michael Jackson's death, Amy Winehouse death, Marvin Gaye's death, Whitney Houston's death, those people's death now have touched me the hardest, has really like made me feel away, like really, really made me feel away. And I know there's other people that are feeling the loss and mourning the loss of this great, and not only was he excellent rapper and poet, because I like to say he was a poet before he was a rapper, because he was doing poetry before he was rapping, but he was also becoming a great actor. He was. So I'm gonna check out his latest movie as well. It's something about a serial killer, and he plays a cop or something in it. So I wanted to give homage and spend this part of section of my talk show, just giving homage to DMX, and just now I really feel that he's at peace. I really do. That there's no more battling the demons. There's no more spiritual warfares. There's no more hurt and pain and suffering from addiction and your mental health and your physical health issues. There's no more none of that. And I believe, because he would get on social media all the time and talk about the Bible and read the Bible, I know that he believed in God. He said he always did, that God saved his life a lot of times. So I would like to think that his soul has descended into heaven and that he will rest in heavenly peace. So shout out, big ups to BDMX. Shout out, prayers and condolences to his family. Your music will live on forever. Now, on a more happier, lighter, upbeat note, I have a special guest coming in about 5 minutes, but I want to read the bio guest, and he's really special to me because I've had the pleasure of working with this awesome playwright by the name of Stanley C. Jackson Jr., aka Stanley Playwright Jackson. And he is originally from a small town in southern Illinois. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, so I know exactly where he's from. And is a national and award winning playwright and president and CEO of SJM Productions, Las Vegas LLC, based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He has written and produced 8 original musical stage productions for which he has written more than 90 original songs using local talent like yours truly and always delivering a message. SJM Productions have been performed in Indiana, Kentucky, Kansas City, New Orleans, and Las Vegas, Nevada. Currently putting the finishing touches on his ninth production, he is looking forward to casting and presenting Main Street Park on stage in Las Vegas in 2021. So I just want to say we are currently in 2021. So I look forward to Main Street Park. And just to give you a little expert of my introduction to Stanley Playwright, I met him in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was auditioning for a play called Strive the Musical, and I saw it on social media. So shout out to social media. And he was looking for auditioning for parts, and I went and I auditioned for a part, and I got it. But I want to say I played a part in Strive the Musical. But I want to say about what I know personally about Stanley is that I have never worked with a person that, and because I did another play and I worked with someone and it was not as good of experience. And I won't call no names, I'll just say, but professional from start to beginning with Stanley Playwright Jackson. I loved his professionalism. I loved the way he treated all of us, all of the cast that was there. Um, the orderly manner he did things in. Um, the time he took out, when he saw a cast member may have been struggling with lines or a song or just that personal touch that a producer, director, playwright gives. So I was very impressed by his work ethic. I was really impressed by the fact that he wrote all the original songs to his stage plays. If you are an artist and a singer songwriter, you have such appreciation for that. So I was impressed with that, and just his body of work that he had already done, and then especially with him taking a chance on me and casting me in my second stage play. And it was awesome. Strive the Musical, and we did it there in Las Vegas, Nevada. So, yeah, just honored to have him on, just honored to be able to interview him because when we did Strive the Music, because somebody interviewed all of us. So now I'm interviewing him. So, someone that I worked with, I definitely look up to him. I definitely learned so much from him, and he funny as all get out. He's such a talent. I see great things for him in his future. And I've told him that, and he knows that. And I love him very dearly. So he's going to be coming on any second. And you guys, I'm so excited to have this opportunity to interview Stanley Playwright Jackson. So yeah, so you guys are going to hear in his own words him tell you about his humble beginnings in the arts and how it all came about and all of that. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I need some excitement. I need some happy. I need some cheer, right? Because of what's going on. So we need to be uplifted, and the arts can always do that. So without further ado, we about to bring him in, y'all. I'm telling you, they saying he here, he's in the building, or he's on the stream. I'm just waiting for him to there he is. What people? You don't even know. Without further ado, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, my friend, the legendary, and you a legend already. I'm claiming that.
I'm a legend.
From my mouth to God's ear, you gonna be a legend in this arts and entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, Stanley Playwright Jackson is
Yeah.
on the line in the building. What's up? How are
Hey, how
you?
you doing? Look at you. Look at you.
Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules. Hercules.
See, I already know this interview is about to be fine. I'm finna be cracking up all the way through.
I'm
So
going to try to be good.
how you doing? Now I want you to be you.
Oh, well,
That's what I want you to be you, And if that's good, if that's naughty, like what, give me a little all of that, give
All
me a little
right.
all of that.
Okay. Remember
How
you
have
said it.
you been?
Hey, I've been good. I'm out here in the cut trying to keep up with this COVID thing. That coronas.
I
Trying to keep up
know
with the coronas.
it's a mess, ain't it? Ooh, yeah, and I just didn't think it would last this long. It's over a year. It's crazy. It's
Right.
put a
But
halt to it. It's put a halt to everything.
it's slowed everything down. But the bright side is that it gave me time to write. It gave you time to revisit some stuff and work on your craft. And then I remodeled
Exactly.
everything at the house. So
I know. I saw that on
so
social media. I was like, okay. I was like, Miss Jackson got him working or something because he busy. But
I'm
yes,
running
I
out of
did
things to
see that.
do.
Well, listen, tell us on the arts and entertainment side, as far as your playwriting, please let my audience know about your humble beginnings, how it all started for you with doing these stage plays and things of that nature.
Well, it started back in Africa when I was a little. Okay, no, no. Where, where the playwriting really started was, as a kid, as a class clown, and I was a fool and all that stuff. So, but I really started in the gospel music world, playing drums and bass guitar, and gospel music was my thing. And then, it kind of started to get a little shaky. And then, I saw some bootlegs of Tyler Perry. And
Right.
he got big because of the bootleg. Now, don't think
Oh, absolutely.
but I saw some bootleg. They was on VHS. The young folk don't know what that is, but that's them
Right.
kids.
Right.
So,
But
but
it's before they time.
I saw some of that. I said to myself, I think I could do that. I think I could. So I started kind of writing stuff down, doing little stuff. I was already kind of writing music a little bit. So, but where it got started was at my church. My church gave me the opportunity to write something or present something at one of their big anniversary services, and that's how Yet Holding On got started. And it kind of I think we had 700-800 people
Oh,
show up
wow.
at that production, and that kind of started things off, and it wasn't no turning back after that. So that's kind of how I got started. So, and everything I write is always faith based. It's always going to have a message somewhere because I write the messages down first before
Okay.
I write the script, and so that they don't get lost.
I
But
was gonna ask you what's your strategy for what inspires you to write. What is like the first thing that comes to you?
well, it's just like we dealing with Corona, we dealing with all kind of stuff. But it's just certain things that stick with me as in the day to day, and I'll write those things down. And when I get
Okay.
5 or 6 of those things listed, I'll start writing a script.
Wow.
If you look on my page, I have a thing that says I write down the messages, and then I surround it with music and comedy to protect it from the entertainment. So, so
Okay.
because we can do some crazy plays where it's just a whole bunch of foolishness, and
Yes.
but I don't want the messages to get lost because I'm a fool. Now I like to have fun and do crazy stuff. I'll put a diaper on and go on stage, but I don't want the message to get lost
Right. Right.
in
Right.
all of that. So, but that's kind of just kind of how I do it. Telling stories come easy to me. So, I just need something to wrap around it. So,
Right. Well, I tell you, I was telling them a little bit about how we met before you came on, and what I appreciated and got from you the first time we worked together was your work ethic and your guidance and just your attentiveness that you gave to your cast and the love and the care that you put in it, and how you just I just like the way you ran your whole production, just everything. It was so professional. It was streamlined so good. Like it was, everything was like all in order. And I hadn't experienced that from my first experience of doing musical stage plays. And I just saw the difference. And I knew that I was in love and had been bitten by theater and the acting bug, right? And then working with you, you brought so much more out in me that I didn't know I had in me, or that maybe it was in me, and I was maybe hesitant to bring out. And that's what a good producer director does. And you did that with me and all the rest of your cast, and the time that you took out with us to make sure we get it right. And we had fun all along doing that. So I want to talk about Strive and how all that came about. So tell us about what was the inspiration about, behind writing Strive, and then bringing it to Las Vegas, having the auditions. You was posting online. That's how I saw it, and I auditioned, and that's how we met. So tell us about Strive.
Strive was a play. Let's see, I think we originally did it in Indiana in 2016, I
Okay.
think. But it was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite plays. But and what happens? I've been doing this for 10 years, but every so often there is a spot that I get to where I kind of try to raise the bar, and Strive was the beginning of one of those where I kind of raised the bar a little bit, and we went and started doing some things a little different. But what it was is just a show about encouraging people that are going through a lot of stuff. They come from crazy backgrounds. They got
Mhm.
bad habits, and they just got the short end of the stick. And it's just encouraging them, saying no matter where you came from or what you're going through or what you're in now, you can still come out of this and you can still be something. You can still achieve
Yes.
what you want to achieve. So that's what Strive was. So it's really a fun show to me. You know, you had the person who had lost a child because she was working down at the club. You had somebody that was on the drugs and doing all of that stuff. And you know, we had a lot of different angles, and then in between there, we mingle in some different relationship stuff and different things going on in the community. Then we had the club owner coming around trying to recruit other girls to go back. You know, we had all of that stuff.
To
So
go back to scripting. To go back to
yeah,
scripting.
right.
And then you had my role, which was the holier than thou role. And Lord knows I am not a holier than thou. I was like, I don't know how he finna get this one out of me.
Well,
But
here's the thing about Strive is all the people that came and auditioned. Not many of the people got the part that they auditioned for.
right. That is true. That is true.
So
That is,
that was a little different. We kind of plugged people in, but everybody was, "Hey, cool, let's do it." So you know,
and I think it's because I don't know, you saw something else had to be in me as a directive, and I was like, okay, I don't know about playing this holier than thou because I'm so far from that. But good producing and directing is just that. Yes, holier than thou. So I was the Bible thumping. Hallelujah. God go get you.
but you was
And
ready to fight, though. You was ready.
I mean, but you know, just working with you and experiencing that was my first taste of what it feels like to truly be appreciated as an artist and appreciated as a cast member uh, because of the work that was done, the work that we all put in there. And like I said, your work ethic to me was just off the chain. And thank you so much. And I want to take. I mean, I know I've thanked you before, but I want to take this platform and time to thank you personally again for taking a chance on Patrice Moncel and seeing something in me that I probably didn't see in myself at the time. And now I love doing theater and I love doing the musical stage plays, and I want to continue to do that. You know, we were in rehearsal for the other play when COVID hit. So let's
Right?
talk about that.
Yeah, Coronas. That Coronas ain't no joke. But
Right.
Yeah, so we were rehearsing for It Takes a Village.
It takes a village.
And so just so people, a little background, that show is
Right.
about a high school, a lot of high school kids and their teachers and the issues that they face at home and bring to school that the teachers got to get past before they can teach them. And so it's dealing with all that surrounds. So you got an abusive father that's giving the son a hard time because he ain't starting on the football team, and a mama
Right.
that's getting beat up by the daddy, and you got stuff going on. We had a lot of stuff going
Yes.
on in there. And then we were dealing with too, at that time, it was a lot of the school shootings and stuff
Yep.
was happening. So we had a piece in there that you were involved in, that, where you had everybody on set crying.
Yeah, I mean, that role. Okay, so I was playing this teacher, Miss Hudson, and I was kind of like the old school. Ain't nothing gonna change. These kids ain't gonna, that type. But there was this scene of me and the young man, and there was a school shooting, and that I never forget. That scene was so deep between he and I, because I got so into it, and that's what, again, I'm talking about. That's what a good producer director does, is like he makes you feel that moment. And it was so real, because I put my mindset in being in it, what that would feel like, for real.
Right.
And man, that scene right there, woo. But then, yes, look at your queen. Hi, Miss
Yeah.
Michelle Wilkins Jackson. How are you, beautiful? And yeah, but that role, that moment, that scene was something. It was something, and I knew. I said, "Wow, this one here, this wasn't gonna be a good body of work from you." And then Corona hit,
Right.
so
Right.
it sucks. So tell me about this Main Street Park. So what's the deal with this one?
Main Street Park, I have been working on literally for probably 4 years.
Oh wow,
While we've been doing these other shows, I've been
right.
telling people about Main Street Park, about all these, So it's about this park in the city that is in this community. Everybody goes there. We all know this spot. Is everybody's there. When they ain't got nothing to do, they at the park. You got old guys dropping knowledge on young guys. You got drug dealers trying to sell drugs. You got kids playing. You got relationships going on, and this is where they meet. So this is like the central spot for everything that goes on in this community. And the city is getting ready to tear this place down. And then so we show all of these things of why this park is so important to this community, and we deal with all those emotions and all that stuff that happens. So
Oh wow.
and it's kind of based style wise late 60s, early 70s kind
Okay.
of style.
Okay.
So it's some neo soulish kind of stuff in there, some Jackie Wilson kind of stuff, and it's
Wow.
a nice mixture of music. It's even some rap stuff in there. It's a lot of stuff in there. But
Oh, awesome.
so it's a fun piece, but it's dealing with some issues like I always do. But
And
it's
like you
wrapped
said,
around right.
the message is always there. And that's another thing that I appreciated from your body of work, of your stage plays, the ones that I just checked out for myself before I met you on SJM Productions. And we're gonna talk about that too. And and your things to follow. I have known that you have always at the end of the day wanted to leave a message with your audience, leave a message with your cast, and get what did they get out of it playing that character. You brought out that you bring out that in your cast members. So now tell me, Corona is still, I mean, it's not as bad as it was. So do you still foresee do you still foresee 2021 being realistic for you? To Are you just gonna start rehearsing, or do you actually plan to for this play to come to fruition?
I'm hopeful. I'm in contact all the time with the theaters
Okay.
that we would use, and to see what the allowed capacity is. So, and once that number gets to what I think can work for us to be successful and not just lose our shirt,
Yeah.
then I'll lock dates in. But
Okay.
if I lock dates in now, I have to lock them based on the capacity that they can do
Right.
today. And when we get to that date, when we get to showtime, if that hasn't changed, then I can't push it back or I can't do anything because I signed up for that
Right.
50% capacity. So
I got you.
we're waiting on that and all of that. So hopefully once that happens, I can lock in a date and if we can start casting and get something done. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready. I'm
Good.
ready to go.
Yes, you don't look. Listen, come close. Come close. I'm not that far away. Arizona ain't that far away. So I'm just putting my little bid in now. Just let me know. I'll be there. I'm only a hop, skip, and a jump away. Is there a role for me? Don't forget your girl. That's all. Just holla, holla.
Hey, there's always a role, and to me, this whole thing it's a ministry. That's why I make sure there's a message that goes out. But when we talk about casting and behind the scenes, I always say there's this ministry behind the ministry. Because
Right.
then
Absolutely.
we got 25 or 30 people who gonna spend 2 or 3 months together every week. And they're gonna get to know each other, they're gonna become family, they're gonna like each other, they're gonna not like each other, but it's gonna be a bond that you have for the rest of your life. After that show is done, you still know
Absolutely.
those people and you still have a
Absolutely.
bond with those people. And so and I like that, we have a mixture. So sometimes when I don't cast all the time the best actor. I cast the best castmate.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
I can
Eh,
I can
So,
get an
so
actor
tell
that
us what the difference. Tell us what's the difference.
well, the difference is you can get a really great actor and they might be a diva and they're not good in rehearsal. They
Mm,
don't communicate and they don't bond and with the rest of the cast. They don't build
gotcha.
that chemistry with the rest of the cast because they're better than that. I've done this and this. And
Right.
so they don't, and when you get a good cast member, it doesn't matter. We had all kind of ups and downs when we were rehearsing for Strive, but then we had
Yes.
people who we thought were mad, but they were giving other guys a ride home from rehearsal. We had all kind of stuff going on. I'll pick you up on
Right.
my way in.
Exactly.
We would pray, we hug, and then we had Miss
Yes, we
K,
did.
Miss Odessa, who would pray
Yes, we
and drop
did.
some knowledge on the young
Yes,
folks.
we did.
And,
Yes,
and
indeed.
so that whole thing there that's a big part of the process that I like a lot as well. And
Yeah, you're
then
right. I agree. So,
getting to the show is just, that's just the gravy. We done all the hard work. Everybody done cussed everybody out. People done cried. Some people
right.
done quit 2 or 3
Yep.
times and then come
Yep.
back. And so, they have no idea what we done been through by the time that curtain opens
Woo.
up.
They
But
had no idea. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the ups, the downs, the turnaround, the turmoil, the everything. But like you said, that in that moment when we did those shows, and at the end of each show, I don't care. There was a bond form. There was a work ethic form. We respected each other's craft and what we did. And again, like I say, I commend you because only good producing and directing does that for your cast members. And it was nobody was greater or bigger than the other because everybody had to make their part big, whatever that looked like. And when it was your turn to shine, it's your turn to shine. And I like that you write your stage plays like that because you give everybody a chance to shine. Now what they do with it when they get it is up to them, but that you got the flow. You better show your little 5 minutes or 5 seconds, whatever it look like, of fame. You better do your thing. You do your thing.
and I think it's important too. A lot of playwrights, they don't veer from their script. My script is a guideline, and I stress the importance of everybody developing their character with whatever it is that they have. And when
Right.
you develop that character and you know who you are, then it tells you how to block the show. It tells you how to move when you don't have nothing telling you what to do. It's telling you
Yes.
what to say when you have to ad lib. If you forget
Yes.
your lines, but you know who you are, you know how to get through that scene. Remember, we always say, learn the scene, not
Yes.
necessarily your line. So
Absolutely.
you forget all of your lines. You know what's supposed to happen in this scene. They don't know what your lines are.
And believe me, that happened. But long as you still playing the part, and in the moment, they don't know what your lines are. And you know that has happened to many of us up there. But it was so much fun. But I got about 5 more minutes with you. So I wanted you to tell us about. I saw you posted you got some award on social media. Some you posted some certificate, and then in closing, let us know about SJM and your and what's to come with the expectations of Stanley Playwright Jackson.
So what I posted was just I've been using this time, and I think it's something that everybody ought to do to educate yourself and to still try to learn more about your craft. Because I'm basically self-taught. You know, I look up what the format is to write a script, how to do that. But I basically have gone all these years doing these productions with what I figured out on the fly. And
Right.
so when I have time, I go and take courses and see what are they teaching these people classically, technically, what are they teaching them so that I can measure what I'm doing against what they're doing. So I took this course that's from a friend of mine that I met, actually. He's a Broadway director
Awesome.
in Manhattan, and he did this workshop and this course, and I wanted to see, okay, what does a Broadway director do with his cast and his crew that I'm not doing, and
Okay.
so I can see what I need to adjust and what I need to, maybe I'll take this, maybe I won't, but I just want to know what's going on. So if I'm in the room with these people, I'm not intimidated by what they do because of the status that they have. Because I know what I have and what I do. So
Absolutely.
I think
Always learning.
You always got to keep learning so
Yep.
that you know what's going on. SJM, www.sjmproduction.com is our website. And so it's where you find everything SJM, all clips from all the productions, photos, different kind of things on there. So stuff on there. So when we're casting and doing all that, it'll be sheets on there for you to fill out if you're interested, or you can ask questions and do all of that sort of thing. So, we're fingers crossed that Coronas
Yes.
get on about their business and we can get back to business of doing art. But you can check Playwright Stanley Jackson on Facebook and on Instagram, and check the website so you can keep up with what we're doing.
Shout out to my friend Lene Ferguson. She's a playwright. I interviewed her last week. She said,
Next
"I
week,
agree. Perfecting your craft is very important." Yeah, I met her in Vegas, but she's actually in Arizona, where I am right now. So all of you did say all your social media handles. So what, lastly, would advice or anything you want to say on this platform to inspire any up and coming actors or actresses or playwrights, whether it's producing, directing, like whatever? What advice would you give?
here it is. The thing, I think if you have a desire to do something and you're willing to work at it, I think it's worth, you got to go for it, because I think a lot of times we stop ourselves because we're intimidated by what the world says is standard, or what the world says is this or that. But you might be the next new thing. It doesn't matter. And then what I found out, even though I'm taught myself to play bass, drums, piano, write songs, write plays, and all of that stuff. And then what I find out is that I know what I don't know. So when I'm around those people who know it, I'm not intimidated because I know what I don't know, but I know what I
Right.
do know. And
Right.
then I'm finding out too that, even in the playwright and the performing arts world, there's some things that I do that are different from what they do, but I still choose to do it that way because it gets the results that I want, because I got a different goal when I put a show out than that person has when they put a show out. And so,
Absolutely.
so if that's your desire and that's something you want to do, you got to go for it regardless, and always try to educate yourself and keep learning. Don't be ignorant to what's out there. There is a way. There are some rules. One page in the script does equal 1 minute on stage. That's just the
Right.
rule. Don't be
Right.
ignorant to all of that stuff. But
Right. Absolutely.
you got to go.
Thank
You got to go for it.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much again. You're a big inspiration. I look forward to working with you in future in your future projects. I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away. I so admire you and look up to you, and I wish you all continued success. I know you're gonna be big, from my mouth to God's ear. I just want to thank you for coming on the Truth Now show, and please come back again. In the meantime and in between time, y'all give it up for Stanley Playwright Jackson. Go on all his social media platforms and check out his body of work. If you're interested in working with him, collabing with him on anything, I'm pretty sure he'll be available. Now I gotta go. I love y'all. Hey Jessica, I see you. Bye. Thank you, Stanley.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All
All right.
right, y'all. So that was Stanley Playwright Jackson, y'all. A great guy, a great playwright. I thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening to the Truth Now radio talk show on Hot 702.5 FM on your streaming and radio dial. I gotta go. Hey, Courtney. Bye.